Do you have intentions? I have intentions. Good intentions, bad intentions. Let's get Basque with our intentions. Hi, I'm Shanna, and this is Basque GRAMMAR. Today we're going to learn two different ways to express the intent or purpose of a thing or action. Well, in English, there's really one main way, and that's the phrase in order to, or often shortened to just to. In order to do this, I must do that first, or I am going there in order to do that. In Basque, there are two ways to do this, and the first is adding tzeko or tzeko at the end of a verb. This typically indicates intention using non-movement verbs. To form this, you take the dictionary form of a verb, remove the suffix, and add te or tzE at the end. This forms the verbal noun. And then onto the verbal noun, you add another suffix, ko, K-O. So from ein, remove the letter N, add te, then ko, and you get egiteako. From ikasi, remove the I, add te and ko, you get ikasteko. From detektatu, remove tu, add tse and ko, you get detektatzeko. From ekari, remove the ri, add tse and ko, you get ekartzeko. I have a video on forming the verbal noun if this is new to you, so check that out if you need to. So with the four example verbs I just gave, we can form sentences to express intention or purpose.
Txartelak erosi ditut bidaia egiteko.
I bought tickets in order to make a trip.
Ariketak egiten ditut euskara ikasteko.
I do exercises in order to learn Basque.
Programa bat garatu dute minbizia goiz detektatzeko.
They developed a program in order to detect cancer early.
Gaur gauean afaltzeko janaria ekarri du.
He brought the food in order to eat it for dinner tonight. See, in each sentence we have something called a main clause. The main clause stands independently from any other information in the sentence. I bought tickets. I do exercises. They developed a program. He brought the food. The verbs contained in these main clauses are not verbs dealing with motion, and that's why we use the tzeko or tzeko suffixes. So basically, this expresses the intention or purpose of any other verb except a movement or anti-movement verb. But wait, you might be thinking, well, the verb to bring, ekari, is like a verb of motion. Bringing is movement, right? And you would be right, but we'll get into that after I explain this next part. So what if the verb in the main clause does deal with movement, like the verbs to go or to come, or even a lack of movement, like to stay? Instead of verbal noun plus ko, we use verbal noun plus the allative suffix ra, ra. So our sentences would look something like this.
Bidaiatzera joango naiz.
I will go to travel, or I will go to make a trip.
Euskera ikastera nator.
I am coming to learn Basque.
Minbizia detektatzera joan zen.
He went to detect the cancer.
Afaria ekartzera etorri da.
He came to bring dinner. To recap, our first four sentences used the non-movement verbs in the main clause: to buy, to do, to develop, to bring, thus tzeko or tzeko. The next four sentences use movement verbs in the main clause: to go and to come, thus tzera or tzera. Other verbs aside from go and come can be used too, like atera, to go out, bidali, to send, or biurtu, to return, and many other verbs that are related to motion and which cause the allative suffix to be attached to nouns. Now, this can be confusing because I've seen verbs like atera, to leave, and gelitu, to stay, use both tzera and tzeko suffixes. And quite possibly this has something to do with other aspects of their definitions or different Basque speakers from different regions using them differently. But even Basque grammars on the Euskal website, like the EGLU, say there is a lot of confusion regarding the usage of these two suffixes. And even dialectal speakers of Basque might use the habitual suffix tsen or ten, T-Z-E-N or T-E-N, instead of tzera or tzera or tzeko or teko. I mentioned ekari earlier. It seems like a verb of motion, doesn't it? To bring, but it's used with tzeko or teko, which is a non-movement suffix. There's not a lot of literature on this, but from what I've gathered, the thing being talked about has to almost move voluntarily. So the food is brought, implying movement of a sort, but it is not growing legs and moving itself. I'm not sure if this is the right idea, so Basque speakers, please comment what you think about this theory. So what I'm trying to say is, if you haven't pinned down the exact usage of these two grammar points yet, that's probably okay. And after all, these two suffixes basically express the same thing, doing one action in order to bring about another action or a result. But tzera usually deals with movement, and tzeko usually doesn't. Tzeko or teko, unlike tzera or tzera, can be used as a sort of adjective that comes before the noun. This means that this adjectival noun phrase might be part of the main clause itself. Sticking to the theme of intention, notice how these objects have a purpose, and their purpose is the verb that the suffix tzeko or teko is attached to.
Bidaia egiteko ordua.
The time to make the trip.
Euskara ikasteko ariketak.
The exercises to learn Basque.
Minbizia detektatzeko programa.
The program to detect cancer.
Gaur gauean afaltzeko janaria.
The food to eat for dinner tonight. The phrase in order to doesn't always sound quite right with tzeko or teko in this case, so just the word to is suitable for these types of situations. These forms can also be found with verb phrases that may or may not loosely have something to do with purpose. To tell someone to do something, to have the intention to do something, to have the desire to do something, or to have the will to do something.
Joateko esan du.
He said to go.
Etortzeko asmoa dut.
I intend to come, or I have the intention to come.
Joateko nahia duzu.
You have the desire to go.
Bizitzeko gogoa dut.
I have the will to live. So, what intentions do you have? Euskara ikasteko asmoan zaudete? Thanks for watching! Agur!